Hey guys, it's Ian, and today we'll be continuing our series in Kevin Barnett's book, What is Your True Identity? Today we're going to be talking about Sam Wilson, the Falcon. Now, in the chapter, Kevin goes into a lot of detail about the origin story of the Falcon, and how Sam Wilson went on this process to becoming his true self. And I think it was interesting. We have a little bit of hindsight, as this book was written prior to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and getting to see a very similar story play out. Now, in the comics, like everyone else around Steve Rogers, at some point Sam Wilson was mind controlled by the Red Skull. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Bucky Barnes, Sharon Carter, Sam Wilson, heck, Steve Rogers himself have all been mind controlled at some point by the Cosmic Cube or by this Red Skull or by Hydra. And so it's actually really surprising that Steve Rogers or anyone around him has any trust in each other anymore. But I guess that's the superpower of being Captain America. As we talked about in a previous video, we talked about Captain America's power of humility and friendship in both our Captain America and our Bucky Barnes videos. And we see as Sam Wilson goes on this journey to break himself free from this brainwashing, we see a very similar story in Falcon the Winter Soldier. Now, in that story, it's not a physical cosmic cube brainwashing, but in that story, he doesn't have confidence in becoming the next Captain America. Whether that's because of his race or because of the culture and the society he grew up in, the way that he views and feels like he'll be judged, the way that the government has acted and treated him in the past. There's a lot of factors that go into why he doesn't feel confident to become the next Captain America. And in both stories, we see as Sam Wilson, through circumstances, through his relationships, begins to grow and eventually begins to accept his true self. I believe the line from the book is, "I know who I am, and now I am free." And freedom obviously is an important part of the American mythos and the Captain America mythos, and the Christian reality of that God's desire is to set us free, right? It says in the Bible, you'll know the truth and the truth will set you free. I work with recovery, and in doing that, the first step we always address when we're working in recovery is denial. And understanding that the things we're not willing to address always will have power over us. Say it like this a lot. Our greatest weakness will always be our fear of weakness, because we'll allow the others to prosper. In our lives, we can become entrapped, lied to, brainwashed by the lies in our life, by the things we want to hold on sometimes, right? To avoid responsibility, to avoid what others see in us. You know, in Falcon the Winter Soldier, Steve Rogers sees Sam Wilson as Captain America before anyone else does, right? He gives him the shield, fully believing that Sam is ready for that responsibility. It's Sam who doesn't feel like he's ready for it, and other people around him who don't feel like he's ready for it. God views us as ready to take the next step, to be honest with ourselves, to be free. And as we seek out to be who God made us to be, then we can fly high, without limits, to reach the places that God has for us. So whether that next step is breaking free of some of the things that have held you back mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, so you could fly higher and be freer, or accepting that next role, the next title, that next calling, the things that the good people in your life see for you and want for you, inspire you towards, but maybe you've held back from. Maybe the titles that you've avoided. Maybe you don't feel ready to be called a Captain America. Maybe you don't feel ready to even be called a Falcon. Maybe you don't even feel ready to be called a hero. But we know that God has plans for good things, not only for us, but through us in our example, and the life that we choose to live. That we could take up the mantle, that we could be representatives of Christ, that we could be his disciples, disciple makers. Our past can often be what defines us. But I tell you, the thing that should define you most is the love that God has for you. And when you live in that love above all else, you live a limitless life. You become free. You fly on the wings like eagles or falcons. Thank you guys for joining us again. This is What is Your True Identity by Kevin Barnett. If you want to follow us at CosplayforChrist, that is CosplayFOR Christ. You can follow us on Instagram or here on YouTube. And check out our content anytime. We post devotionals like this. We have some new content coming for you guys. We have some funny videos on our page. But we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week.